Hello and welcome to Manic Movies, a series where we talk about the maddest of movies. I'm Ryanimaniac, and welcome back to the Road to the Endgame. We're taking a look at all the films of the Marvel Cinematic Universe leading up to the events of Avengers Endgame. And this episode, we are taking a look at Captain America: Civil War from 2016. So the story of this film picks up with, the Avengers, doing their thing, fighting crime, all that stuff. But when a incident in Lagos happens involving a certain terrorist group, and this accident happens in which a nearby building is destroyed and innocent people get hurt, it results in, the rest of the world looking and saying, okay, well, we don't know if the Avengers can be trusted on their own when stuff like this happens, where innocent people get hurt due to them trying to fight crime. And so it pretty much results with the Avengers, being faced with the prospect of having to be controlled by the government, where they have to sign this thing that's where a government board will pretty much decide if it's an event in which the Avengers should be deployed, which very obviously sets a division in the group of the Avengers, in which you have Tony Stark, who agrees that, the Avengers need to be put in check in case there are incidents so that they can avoid innocent casualties. But at the same time, there's Captain America, who feels that that would be limiting the Avengers and would make them, not being able to help people who actually do need help. But also, with all that going on, there's also a bombing that happens at the United Nations involving Bucky, Cap's old friend, who it turns out was the Winter Soldier. And, he's been framed for a bombing. And so Cap is now constantly trying to clear Bucky's name and prove he didn't do the bombing. And, you have Tony's side, who's, trying to bring in Bucky and prove his guilt. And so you have all the heroes pretty much split in two, fighting each other on their different ideals. And meanwhile, there's also this other villain going on in the background, Zemo, who's got a nefarious plot of his own going on. Okay, so I'm not gonna lie, this film in particular has to be within my top 5 of the MCU, because this is personally one of the strongest films of the MCU, I believe. Mostly because it's the point where all these characters and their motivations and their backgrounds and their beliefs have all been set up at this point. So now to see a big event like this occur, like the Sokovia Accords, pretty much making, okay, now you've been introduced to all these characters, okay, now pick a side. Who do you agree with? Do you agree that they should sign the Accords or not sign the Accords? And it's such a strong film for that, because again, all these characters have had these personalities and beliefs set up over the course of all these films. So now to see them clash is such a strong film, because, unlike a lot of other times where this film be going where one person's clearly the bad guy and one person's clearly the good guy, this film blurs that line a little, in which there really is no definite good guy or bad guy. Both sides have very good and strong arguments for their case. And so, you can't really decide exactly who you agree with. Like, for example, one of the points Caps make is if they become under control of the government, well then, what if the agenda of the government changes? In that situation, then it would mean the Avengers could get shipped to a place where they don't need to be shipped, to go fight people that they don't have to go fight, or they don't need to go fight. Right? They might be sent in to go fight the people who are actually trying to do the right thing. And then the inverse of that, in which they want to go help people who need help, but they can't because the government won't allow them. And so if they sign, they no longer have that choice to help people who actually do need it, or to not go fight people that they don't need to go fight. But then also there's Iron Man's side, who, he's seen the catastrophe of all the people that have been hurt. There's a guy that gets hurt from Sokovia, and he got killed due to Ultron's takeover, and also the events of New York and Washington D.C. and all these other events where all the heroes, where the Avengers have, sure, they saved the day, but also at the cost of lots of innocent lives, and lots of people got hurt. So you also understand his side of being like, okay, I still also want to be able to protect as many innocent people as I can. And, it's like they both have very good reasons for why they're doing what they're doing. And so that makes the conflict a lot stronger. And we also do get the introduction of a couple superheroes in this film. One of them, namely being Black Panther, T'Challa, King T'Challa. He was really cool in this film. He's quite a bit of a show stealer. Every time he's on screen, he's really cool in this film. Because he just sort of have this cool attitude of just like, I am this noble warrior who, lives, who must avenge the death of my father, because he got killed, sadly, in the UN bombing. And so he wants to pretty much find Bucky and kill him himself, because he wants to avenge his father. And, this has this nobility and matureness to him. But at the same time, you can feel his empathy and be like, I need to avenge my father's death. And also in this film, we get the introduction, the official introduction, of Tom Holland's Spider-Man, which is very divisive among people whether or not he's a good one. Personally, I love him as Spider-Man because, no offense to Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield or anything, but their Spider-Man just sort of seemed to have a general idea, have an actual idea of what they were doing, of how to be a superhero. Whereas this one is quite clearly still in his rookie years, doesn't really know the proper way to be a superhero, and that sort of thing. He's kind of awkward with all the other superheroes, and he's, I don't know, it's just something new for Spider-Man, where, like, the other films, he just, he gets his powers, cool, and now it's automatically an expert. Whereas this one, yeah, he's had them for 6 months, but at the same time, he still is sort of learning how to be a proper superhero, and that even carries over into his own film that comes out later. The only thing I really don't care for about him in this film, though, is the CG suit, because it's just so distractingly CG. I mean, I can forgive it, given the fact that, he was added into the film sort of last minute. Like, you can definitely tell he was added in the film last minute, because he's only in the film for a small period of time compared to the other heroes. And also there was like a situation where like his original suit didn't fit right or something, so for like the rest of the film, they just had to CG him in because they wouldn't have had time to get a new suit in time. But like, it's just so distracting to me, You can just so clearly tell he's not there for most of the time he's on screen, which is a bummer. I mean, we do get to see him in an actual physical suit later, but I don't know, it's just so distracting just seeing him just all CG. I don't know, I can kind of forgive it given the situation they were in. Stan Lee's cameo in this film is a FedEx driver at the end of the film who, when, Iron Man and Cap have gone their separate ways and, sort of recuperating for the event, he's delivering a package to Tony from Cap, and he knocks on the window and says, "Are you Tony Stank?" Yeah, fun thing, though, about the Stan Lee cameo for this, as a side note, it actually did kind of knock me out of reality, because like when I first watched this, I legit forgot it was a superhero movie up until the Stan Lee cameo. Like when Stan Lee popped up, suddenly it clicked, oh wait, that's right, I forgot I'm watching a Marvel movie, because that's how good the film is. Like, this is the first film I can think of, or one of the first films I can think of, where I actually went to the theater twice to see it, which I don't really do often for movies unless it's something I think is really good. And this was one of those films because, oh my gosh, there was just so much, like, again, the motivations and the conflict and all. It's just such a strong film. I love it. And just, knowing that how serious things get at the end, and all of a sudden, Stan Lee is knocking me out of that, going, oh wait, I forgot, I'm watching a comic book movie. That tells you just how strong that ending is. Like, this is the film, I feel like, where the films just start going to such darker subject matter. Like, they've been sort of goofy, fun, highs and lows up to this point. Now it's just getting to such dark level, and pretty much is kickstarting the events of all of this Phase 3, and how dark the rest of the films are starting to get from this point. And all of the repercussions and all the adult situations. It's such a strong film. I love it. Once again, though, we do sort of get a forgettable, throwaway Marvel villain, which is a shame, because from what I hear, this dude, Zemo, is a big deal in the comics. And, I don't know, he's just sort of forgettable. But I do understand they sort of changed his backstory a little bit from the comics. I mean, I'm not really familiar with the character, other than knowing that he's a big deal in the comics. They just sort of changed him to this dude in Sokovia that's like, you, the Avengers, killed my family in Sokovia when Ultron attacked, or they're responsible for the death of my family, so now I'm gonna split the Avengers apart. That sort of thing. Like, he's got a good motivation, but at the same time, his plan is kind of all over the place, and requires a lot of coincidental and lots of very specific things to happen for it to work. So, I don't know. But yeah, all in all, this was a really, really, really good film. Easily in my top 5, maybe even my top 3 of the MCU so far. I highly recommend this film. This was such a good film. And, oh boy, it was just so good. That's the most I can really say about it, is that it was so good. Words don't really do it justice. So yeah, anyways, thank you all so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, you can feel free to hit that like button to, support the channel and all that. You can subscribe to see what other content I upload. You can, check out my Kingdom Hearts playthrough, or my Halloween series review, or the rest of this Road to the Endgame stuff. Or you can just subscribe and, see what else I upload myself. Also, if you have a suggestion of something I should check out, whether it be a game or a movie or pretty much any other medium, you can feel free to leave that in comments down below, because I don't know, you might have something you might have a suggestion for me that I might want to talk about. I don't know. Leave it down below and we'll see where it goes. But anyways, with all that being said, stay sane in the insane world, and I'll see all you little loonies later.